Hi everybody, it's Marcy, and today I want to work on my journal cards for Dearjuliejulie August Junk Journal Challenge. We need to make 9 hidden journal cards, and we need to make 9 journal cards. So I'm going to try to get those done all in one video. So what I'm going to start with for my first hidden card, I've got printed on cardstock postcards from Dearjuliejulie All About That Base kit. I've got colorful daisies, and then I've got a little trim here that I'd cut on my Scan and Cut. I've got an index card. I've got a little stamp that was actually cut out from one of the postcards that is actually the same postcard as All About That Base, but that was like a stamp on here. I just didn't want all of this. I wanted to do it a little differently and do it myself, which is why I got this from All About the Base kit. So first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this little postage stamp and I'm just gonna put it right back on. And even though I am using the exact same image, really the only way this is different than what Julie had on there is hers has the straight borders, and I used my postage stamp scissors to cut mine out. Then I want to give it a cancellation. So let me ink that up. And where is that piece of paper I've been using to stamp on? What did I do with it? Huh. Well, all right. I will use this. All right, so there I've got my cancellation. And now, okay, I want this to go like this or like this. I think I want it to go like this. This one is bigger than my postcard, so I think I want it lined up at the bottom. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put glue around the 4 edges of my postcard. Oops, I didn't get that too close to the edge. And I'm going to glue that on. Be better if it were glued straightly. Okay. Now I can just trim my overages. Basically, I'm setting this up just like a postcard would be, where that would be the address side, and then the front of my picture postcard becomes these daisies. All right, so I'm going to round the corners on this. And I'm going to ink around it. Okay, now I'm going to pull out my paper trimmer, and I want to cut this right about there. So right between where I've got the cancellation mark and the postage stamp. So right there. And flip this over so I can see what I'm doing. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to need to cut my index card down. Yeah. Let me go ahead and do that before I go any further. Cut that down to about 4 1/4. And I will go ahead and round those 2 corners. And before yeah, that'll work. Okay. I was going to say, before I glue that, I want to be sure it's going to fit the way I want it to. And here I'm using my Tombow just to give me a moment to move and adjust things if need be after I put it on. All right. Put my card back on, or the short end of my card back on. And then I'll have journaling space there, or hidden journaling space. So now I'm going to grab some of this lace and cut that right there, and I'm going to cut it up the middle. And I'm going to let my lace hang over the line where my hidden journaling spot is. Just like that. And then I'm going to use this little piece of rickrack and glue it right over that straight edge of the lace. Just like that. Then I cut off my excess. And then that's all the decoration I'm gonna do. So I've added a stamp, I've added cancellation, I inked around the edges, I added the little lace, I added the rickrack, and then I will and I'll show you at the end, I will, after all of this dries, I'll go back and I will actually sew over this just to add one more layer of, you know, I've got the lace, the fake paper rickrack, and then I'll just add stitching over the very top of all of that. And very simply, that is hidden journaling card number 1. Okay, hidden journal card number 2. And for this, I'm breaking out the gift bags that I got at Dollar Tree that, I don't know what I was going to say. Oh, that were part of my kit. So I'm going to take this handle off. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use some fancy scissors. These are called Victorian. And to start with, I am going to trim across the bottom, leaving just the slightest edge above this bottom part. And I'm saving this, and I will be using this later on in the journal. So for now, I'm going to use part of this, and let me flatten that out. And I'm going to trim off this edge and go into 3.5. Trim there. I'll hang on to that too. And now this bag is glued or taped right here. I'm going to pull it apart if I can. Okay, so I got that taken off. And I'm going to cut this sticky edge off. And then I've got this piece of cardstock, and it is cut to 3.5 by 4 3/4. So, all right. Put glue around my edges, just like I did with the last one. And glue this on. Try to get it lined up the very best I can. And now I can cut away the excess bag part. And save it for later use. Then okay, I really like this orientation better, but oh, I don't see any reason on this one that I can't use this orientation. I was trying to see where the bag handle, or the holes went for the bag handles. And it looked, okay, it looks like I didn't actually get any on this. So, all right. Round my corners. And then I'm going to ink around my edges. I want to go ahead and add some lace. This is actually throwing me a little bit because I cut this bag apparently differently than I cut the other two, so I don't have the same markers that I had before. All right, so I'm going to put a little bit of lace trim down. And I want to be able to sew it down is the reason I wanted to do this before I went to the sewing machine. And then, while that's drying, I've got this little label from the Dearjuliejulie Colorful Daisy kit. And I'm just gonna tuck it right under the lace and let it peek out from there. And then I've got this Colorful Daisy piece, and I'm gonna put it down as well. All right. Now, I will go sew around this and then I'll be right back. Okay, so I've sewn around the edge of my entire card, and now I'm going to go in and I'll give it about an inch, and I'm going to cut that, and where the threads are, I will have to cut that, well, one of them came off, but normally I have to trim where the threads are with my scissors. Okay. So now it's time to add an index card that I cut down a little bit, although I'm not sure that it's enough. So let's be sure everything okay, it'll fit width-wise, and that looks like it should fit. Yep, that will go perfectly. Alright, so pull that off. Let me do that again. I was trying to straighten the card up, but I want to be sure that it'll... Alright. So, yep. Use the Tombow Mono, so I've got time to adjust it. Put some on both sides just to be sure it stays. All right. Slide that on and get it positioned the way I want it. Now, the last thing I'm going to do to this is use one of the clusters that I made, and I'm actually going to place it, if you'll recall, I used these little scalloped edges on the back of my clusters. So I want to place it so that part of that scalloped paper is, I only want it attached to the top part. So I'm going to throw some Fabri-Tac down. Okay, and now I'm going to go ahead and pull that card out because I got a little low with it, and I don't want it to glue my hidden journal card together. So now I can go in and put a little more. And just to help be sure, I'm going to put just a little bit right underneath some of the fabric as well. Alright, so then my hidden journal card will go right in there. And there you go. So there's hidden journal card number 2. Okay, the third and final hidden journal card that I'm going to make is this. I've got some music paper from Dearjuliejulie. I've got this from More Daisies. I've got a piece of scrapbook paper, index card, and of course a little bit of the trim that I'd cut on my Scan and Cut. I'm trying to use up, when I was cutting stuff, I was kind of playing around with some of the trims and stuff, so now I'm trying to use up the ones that I, had cut up and played with. So first thing, I'm just gonna glue that on to the music paper. And really not much needs to be done with this because I've got the music paper in the background. And of course I've inked around this top piece, but Julie had already collaged it up for us. So, all right, then I can glue around the 4 edges of this and put it on my, cardstock. Just like that. Just like I did with the others, I'm now gonna round my corners and ink around my edges. And okay, before I add this, I need to go ahead and take the top off of this, and I'm going to take it off at about 7/8 of an inch, just under an inch. Just like that. And let's be sure that the index card fits in there. And that the top will go on and cover up everything. Nope, I need to take a hair shade off of that. So that'll work. Now add glue. And put my topper back on. That doesn't look right. Huh? Guess it is though. Okay. Then I want to, I'm gonna have to put this back in here. Throws me off a little bit when I can't see it as a whole. Okay. I'm gonna add this to the top. So like that, to disguise where the opening is. Just like that. And then I'm going to run to my sewing machine. I'm going to take this over to my sewing machine real quick and add some decorative stitching across the top of that, and I will be right back. Okay, and here are my 3 hidden journal cards of the 3rd kind, and here are the 2nd ones I did using the gift bags, and of course the very first ones that I did. I think I had mentioned something about going ahead and adding my journal cards to this video. The video is already getting kind of long, so I think I'm not going to do that. I probably will do my journal cards off camera, and I will just show them to you with my next video. So until next time, everyone, I wish you all a wonderfully happy, crafty day. And until I see you again, please stay safe. Bye-bye.